Welcome everybody on the webinar on book launch for the implementation of the integrated management system for quality, environment, occupational health and safety and energy management system. Right now, this is the most important new requirement of every standard. We thought this we must talk to you because this will make everything clear. Now, the requirement of this is that we have to determine those external and internal issues, external and internal factors which are relevant to the purpose and strategic direction and that affect ability to achieve the intended results of the IMS. What are the intended results? I tell you, when I go and talk to the people, when we go for the consultancy, we find out that most of the people are not even aware what is their vision and mission. They are not aware what is their strategic direction. What do they want? What is their intended outcome of the organization? They are not very clear about it. That is what the standard is talking about. And when talking about the external and internal issues, if you go to the annexure A41 of any standard, we are talking about this external context. When you're looking for, look for the legal issues, technological issues, competitive competition, market, cultural, social, economic environment, and for the internal context, look for the values, culture of the organization, how much knowledge people have about the subject, and the performance of the organization. It is so important, and this is applicable to all the standards. It is not that it is applicable only to the quality standard or the environment standard. It is applicable to all the 4 standards, including the energy management system. Now, this is what we are trying to tell you, that once we are talking of the context of the organization, the vision, mission of the organization, that will give us the strategic direction, and that will tell us what is the purpose of the organization. For this, in order to find out what are the internal and external issues which affect our ability to achieve this intended outcome, we have to identify these factors. These are the external factors, these are the internal factors, as I showed you just now. Now, just to explain this so that everything is clear to everybody, let me give you a cue to America. In 1961, he was giving a speech, and in the speech he said that I want that America should be the first country to land on the moon. And also, this once the president of the country has said that, it becomes the goal of the organization. It becomes the intended outcome of the organization. It became the goal for that country. Now, what is to be done now? They try to find out the external issues. So first thing that they try to find out is who is their competitor, who will affect their ability to become first to land on the moon. Right? So now they started looking for this. They found that yes, Russia is there, and Russia has got more technology. They have got more competence. Why? Because they had already sent Yuri Gagarin to the space station in 1961. Before President Kennedy said this in the speech, he had already gone there. So they found that they have got more knowledge. Internal issues, they have got more knowledge. Their performance is very good. They have already sent it. Whereas America was able to send some satellites to the space station, but unmanned. And now they have to find out what are the factors, affect their ability. They found that the biggest issue is the political issue. The president was from the Democrat party. Okay, Russia has a opportunity here because Russia is a communist country. Whatever the government says, everybody will have to accept it. Whereas they are a democratic country. If a Democrat has suggested something, the Republicans would not accept it. Then money, they will say, economy is a big problem. Money, the Republicans will say, why should we spend money unnecessarily? Why do we have to go there? And then they also found out that they don't have the technology. That much technology is not there. That much competence is not there. And then what they did, they went to NASA. NASA was formed in 1956. It was already there. And then NASA made their policy and their objectives. They made their policy and their objectives based on that goal. This is what is required in your organizations also. In every organization where you are working, you have to make sure that their objectives, their policy should be based on the goal of the organization. Okay, and then NASA, they started working on it. They made all their objectives and policy in that they want to reach the moon. They want to be first to reach the moon. And based on that, all the policy, targets, funds, framework, everything was made. And finally, in 1969, Neil Armstrong was the first person to land on the moon. So friends, why I told you this story, there is a reason. What I want you to is that you should start thinking like this in the organizations where you are working. That what is the vision of the organization? What is the mission of the organization? What is the strategic direction of the organization? And then think about it. Like now, let me talk to you about the organization. The vision of the organization is, they say we want to become best in class, or we want to become a world class company. It is written like this only. If you look at the vision, these are the words they're normally right. We want to become world class. We want to become best in class. Okay, they want to become best in class. So what will they do? They will try to find out what are their competitors doing, and the competitor, whatever he's giving, so that the customer gets delighted. I'm not talking of ISO 9001. He's talking. We are trying to find out what is our competitor doing, so that the customer gets delighted. We come to know about a few products which the customer is which he is giving to the customer. Now what we do? What is the next step? Now we try to find out our customer base, whether those kind of product will be acceptable to our customer also or not. Once we find that yes, they also would like to have those kind of things, then we start looking for it. Do we have the knowledge? Do we have the vendors who can provide us the things? Do we have those equipments? Do we have the technology? We start looking for all these things. That is for ISO 9001. But don't forget that we want to become a world-class company or best in class. Don't forget that part. So when we are doing something, when whatever product that we are giving, we have to see from ISO 14001 point of view, from environmental point of view, we have to see the life cycle perspective. Like for example, any product which we are giving, would it cause any environmental problem when we are producing it, or when it is disposed of? Will it cause any kind of environmental problem? Then we will also see for the technology which is available, or the material which we are using, will it cause any health and safety issue for our people or for the interested parties? And last but not the least, we will also see how much energy consumption is there. Because if the energy consumption is high, then what is to be done? We have to make arrangement for that. We have to find the controls for that. And if the energy consumption is high, we also have to think about the energy performance, right? Because energy, the type of energy, maybe okay, electricity is available, but there are other types of energy also. Fuel, some fuel is required there and it is not available. Then what will you do? So like that, we have to see, these are the internal and external issues which we have to see what should be done about that. Whether it is for environment, whether it is for safety, for energy, for quality, whatever you are talking about. This is very important. Okay, so these are the contextual issues that we have to think about. This is a very important clause. I think they have done a very good thing by including this clause in every step. So very nicely they have gotten there, but the only thing is it has to be understood what they are looking for, what they want. If that is not clear, then we will not be able to go further.
See, as what Dad has just explained about context of the organization, clause number 4. So, just to give you feel that he wanted to tell all of you, what our book talks about. So this is the kind of detailed understanding we are providing in our book, that what organizations have to do, how organizations can implement each and every clause of the standard. We have provided examples into that, and not just about what organization has to do. We've also added on to, the entire scheme of things. Like I being an auditor, I always respect the amount of work that the consultant puts into preparing an organization, for any management system implementation. Sometimes when I started as an auditor after being a consultant for so many years, I always used to tell my clients, I think you are paying more to an auditor. On the other side, should be paying more to the consultant, because they are the ones who create or give you a platform. They are making that management system for you and giving you a platform. So through this book, we are trying to explain it to the organization, to the consultants, that what all can we implement to the organization. Like he's talked about clause number 4 into that. These are the examples, he's talking about the Kennedy example, or he's talking about the example on an industry, when we start with a vision and mission. So we have given these kind of examples into our book, for each and every clause. And specifically, we have added on the energy management system. I think probably this is probably the first book in the world which talks about integration of management system with energy as part of it. People have written books on 914 or 914 and 45, but I think this is the first time we have written a book where we are integrating energy management system at the same time as the other standards of quality, environment, safety. And again, thanks to the high level structure, because now the clause structure is same. Now, just to add on to what our book will talk about, we are just trying to make the implementers or the auditors or the consultants to have a change in their mindset. We don't want, when a consultant enters into an organization or somebody who wants to implement in the company is implementing a management system into the companies, is just focusing on one standard at a time.